And we're live. Hello, Matt.
Hello, Jeremy.
All right. Very good. Thank you so much. Again, the Chris's company is being abusive with the schedule. I wonder if they figured out that she's doing something at lunch that because they're really weird about moonlighting and doing more than one job in Japan. They actually will fire you. If you're working a second job. I don't think that counts for like retail and stuff, but for office jobs and salary positions, they don't tolerate it. That's why they've had such a problem. They temporarily accepted remote work, during the pandemic, but they said get back in the office right away as soon as they could. That work ethic.
Yeah, I've been watching that Sunny
Oh yeah.
show
Mm-hmm.
on Apple with my wife, and it's set in Japan, and one of the supporting characters, who's like a friend to the protagonist, is a bartender,
Mm-hmm.
and because of the shenanigans they get involved in, she's like late to work,
Uh-huh.
and they fire her,
Oh, uh-huh.
and my wife's like, she was only late one time. I was like, yeah, but Japan.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, late is not 15 minutes early. Like that's late. Yeah, if you're not there 15 minutes early, then you're late.
Yeah.
So actually being late is, unforgivable. Yeah, that's very funny. Yeah, I watched the first episode of that show. They solved a problem, and I'm glad that Apple figured this out. You have to
Oh,
let you have to.
okay.
Oh, were we good? Yeah.
They solved the problem that I pointed out to Will. I don't know if you and I talked about it or not.
Mhm.
But yeah, go ahead. Do
Oh
yours
yeah,
first.
yeah. No, I think it's the same thing, but there's so many wonderful, charismatic, charming Japanese actors that just cannot learn English well enough to do international films and be in the global market. I mean, like Ken Watanabe is a big exception, and still his English is not great.
Mm.
So letting them speak Japanese
Oh
in the
yeah.
shows lets you get a chance to see them, and so a lot of the cast of Sunny is full of Japanese what is now like kind of TV talent. Their career is over. They were like singers or theater people or something, and now they're just on TV talk shows. But they're really charming and they're really a fun part of like Japanese pop culture. And this gives them a chance to actually do this work. And I'm sure the paychecks are insane compared to what they make in Japan. So it's nice. It was nice to see like recognizable faces and not have them embarrass themselves by like phonetically speaking lines and stuff. They could be their usual funny, interesting selves
Uh-huh.
in Japanese. Yeah.
Yeah. So my thing is actually kind of related to what you're talking about.
Hmm.
They solved the hokiness of the Star Trek Universal Translator
Hmm.
because they had that little earpiece
Right.
that uses AI to real time translate a language in their ear.
Hmm.
The actor gets to speak in their native language, and the viewer gets subtitles
Hmm.
to represent what the protagonist or whoever is hearing.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, oh my god, it's so much better than what Star Trek does.
Right. Right.
Like, Star Trek has a whole episode based on a universal translator not working,
Hmm.
but the language the alien is speaking includes English words. Those people that speak all in like you know Jalad at the wall when the wall fell down or whatever
Hmm.
that episode. I
Yeah.
can't
Right.
remember.
Right.
It's all the metaphor or I don't know what it is, but the language makes no sense at all,
Right.
and there's no way a language could evolve that way. But it's perfect. Like
Hmm.
and it kind of shows you that maybe with Star Trek they didn't want to have to make a fake language every time
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
every time they had an alien. But man, it would have been so much more interesting to
Hmm.
me if they had done it that way.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. And I noticed, I don't know if there were economic reasons or But streaming really did that. They, would allow projects, like things would get funded in like European. So it was like a Wim Wenders movie or something. The people were speaking, multiple languages throughout the film, and just everything had to be subtitled, because you could only understand part of the movie. But a lot of streaming started to do that. They would have international casts and kind of, mixed languages. And so a lot of stuff was subtitled. And also, because I was thinking of, what was the Cartel series that was popular on Netflix? That being all in Spanish, that like authentically being all in Spanish, made it hard to watch in the background unless you turn the weird dub on it. But I think it made it a lot more authentic. Like I think it worked better instead of everybody speaking English. Like Chernobyl, they still all the Russians had British accents. It was kind of like, okay, yeah, but if they were speaking Russian, I think it would be a little bit more immersive.
Yeah.
But that seemed to start with streaming, where you're getting mixed multiple languages in a series, and just had to rely on subtitles. But that does make it difficult watching it in a third culture, like nobody knowing any of not being native speakers of any of the languages on the show, because then you have to choose one subtitle language. So you can't do dual subtitles. So you're only getting translated.
Also, you only watched the first episode?
Yes, yeah, just the first one.
So I don't want to spoil anything. Okay. But there's an actor in it who plays a Yakuza heavy who is also a like politician.
Oh,
So he's kind of like living a double life or something. I don't know, but he plays almost the same character in Tokyo Vice.
Oh, no way. That's funny.
It's funny. He's way more evil in Tokyo Vice because it's just generally a grittier show than this show is. But yeah,
nice.
Oh my God, Abyss,
nice. Good to see ya. Yep, TV Matt, the old technology. We can't update, Matt.
Abyss, Miguel, and Orcus are all here. That's a lot of burner phones going all at once.
That's right. Wait a minute. There's no way. There's one person somewhere, with 3 connections to the chat. Nice. Very cool. So have you been up to anything IRL gaming? Did you meet for board games or anything during the week?
Yeah, we played some board games. I played this one called Great Western Trail. It was pretty fun. It's literally just 19th century cattle herders kind of thing. But it was pretty cool. And I've been helping Will. He always homebrews games. He loves tinkering with systems, and the one we've been play testing for him, he's like, we'd play, he'd revise, we'd play again. He threw the whole system away.
Oh,
and started from scratch. He asked me to help him design kits because it's a type of game where to build your character, you don't have classes, you pick like kits. And so I've been trying to help him do that. Made like a necromancer kit. It was pretty fun.
Oh, cool. Nice. So kind of fantasy, like his his fantasy.
It's the same exact like homebrew world that he had his game in before.
Oh, wow.
He's just starting all over with the system.
Nice. That's fun. Yeah, we could have Will run something. I'm really curious because you said he's run a lot of 5e before.
Yeah, I think he preferred old like in real. It's 3 or 3.5.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So he probably could do like Pathfinder.
Oh yeah, Pathfinder. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Or Starfinder. That'd be cool.
Oh yeah, that'd be a nice. I mean, I guess we'd be doing a little bit of yeah, as much sci-fi as fantasy. But yeah, Starfinder would be fun too. That's got some really interesting options for characters and stuff. Cool. But there's still that society. No matter where you go, you're being solicited by the Pathfinder Society, the Starfinder Society. Some society wants you to document the world for them always.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my only turn off from that setting. Is just like, really, or always. But I guess that's how they kind of in world, do their game nights and their like special materials. Like that's a thing that the Paizo does to release it. So it kind of makes sense that it's a more task based society that you belong to, and those are the materials that go out for game nights and stuff to the shops.
Yeah, I've never. I guess it's kind of started with maybe third edition D&D.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been a fan of worlds where there's like this organized, just accepted adventuring career.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm a ditch digger. I'm a tavern keep. I'm an adventurer. We all have guilds.
Right. Yeah.
It's so boring.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was the big problem with that the big RPG that came out, the sci-fi one. It was centered around something like that, like an explorer's guild. You're finding artifacts and stuff, and it was so vanilla and boring and really weird. It's Star something. I can't think of the name of it, but it really tanked. That kind of thing is, I don't know. I guess it's it's a good excuse to have adventuring, but it's better when you're like desperate for money or just crazy, a crazy thrill seeker, as opposed to working for a a nonprofit or whatever that's an NGO.
No, I'm murder hobo.
Yeah, right. Not for profit. I do it for the kicks.
I'm here for the murder.
You can keep the artifacts and
that's the edgy '90s fantasy game we never got. It was like just I'm here to kill things.
Right. Oh yeah,
Miguel mentioned BattleTech. You called it.
Oh yeah. I saw that. Yeah, I got a message from Miguel how their Catalyst is screwing up and getting stuff in shops before they send to their backers. Yeah, and Matt made the point. Yeah, as soon as they got your money, it's just like they're kind of done with you until the next time they need your money, So may as well hit up retail. But that's really, that really is a show of kind of disrespect for. You should get something for them having your money for a year in advance, a year or more, in advance. But yeah. It's just that thing. You buy the movie ticket. They don't even care if you go into the movie theater. You bought the ticket, so that's all they count.
Yeah, Will backed that Sanderson Cosmere Kickstarter.
Nice. So he pushed it over 15 million. It was like 14.9.
He got up to 15. Yeah, right. I guess because I haven't read the books, but I guess Mistborn is a part of it he's more interested in. And that part is not even coming out for like a year later.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
So it's like, oh, man,
that's what they said. Yeah, Mistborn RPG to follow, I think is what it said in one of the press releases when they announced like the Cosmere, like it's all connected. It's all one big game we've been making. Yeah, it's weird. Somebody, I guess he'll be able to control this. It's not going to be like it's going to be out of his hands, and it's going to be hard to offer Sanderson enough money to make that tempting. But somebody is going to want that IP. I think it's proven that it's got a decent fan base, and I can imagine Amazon or whatever saying, "Hey, how about a streaming series? Can we get the digital rights or whatever?" Have they done that? Have they tried that yet? Putting any of that stuff on TV or movies? Any of his works?
Not that I'm aware of.
Me either. I haven't recognized anything.
I think Will told me about this. He's like really skeptical of TV and film stuff.
Right.
Because he was a contributor on the Wheel of Time
Oh,
TV show.
I remember that.
It, I guess, became very clear to him very quickly that they really didn't give a fuck about the books, like the content and how it was arranged and how characters were portrayed. So I think he's like really skeptical of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember early days. Yeah, he was like a consultant or something and so he was kind of cheerleading. He's like, "Yeah, it's a new take. It's it's going to be a little different." He was kind of like, getting people ready for the shock of how they presented stuff. But yeah, I think very quickly he just stopped talking about it. Yeah. So yeah, interesting. Yeah, so maybe he does so his grandchildren then, like his estate is going to be selling the IP.
Yeah, they'll sell it out. Yeah.
That's funny.
When his grandkid wants to spend a year at Oxford, they'll sell.
Yeah, isn't that always the way? Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, so Miguel was saying, yeah, the BattleTech dramas, the shops in the EU, yeah, have the Kickstarter content. That's ridiculous. Oh, and then censoring comments on the Kickstarter page. Yeah, that has to be.
Well, that's really tacky.
Yeah, because that's where you're going to get the biggest problem is because everybody sees that and you get notifications and stuff sometimes too, of a big drama on Kickstarter comment sections. So yeah, that's really really. And it shows they know they did the wrong thing. That kind of always shows their guilt when they're like, okay, let's let's turn comments off, or can we delete this? Yeah, that's too bad. Wow.
Wow, I feel like we got the gang back together, Miguel.
Yeah, yeah, good to see you.
Carolina, Clarion, Abyss.
Yeah, good timing. Very cool. Yeah, good to see everybody. Yeah, so we're going to get up to some dune tomorrow. We have a very slow-moving typhoon that doesn't seem to be doing what they thought it would. So I think we're going to be safe for tomorrow. Yeah, it was supposed to hit Wednesday. We were supposed to get it in our area last Wednesday, but it's changed course and moved so slow that yeah, nobody knows what to expect. Everyone's bracing. And that happens a lot here because the landmass is not huge, so it just takes a little bit of a change. A few degrees of, direction, and it totally misses everything, or goes off into Korea, or so. This big storms here are really unpredictable. It's either the worst possible thing or nothing. It's really, really a little confusing because you're always preparing for it, and they're getting like evacuation ready and everything. And it's like, oh, it missed, it missed us. All right. So should we get started?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, okay. No, sure. Sure. Yeah, Miguel. That's how they keep the FOMO going if you can just wait. And that's the thing that's started to slow me down on crowdfunding and stuff is, yeah, very often you're not involved very much in the process. You're just pre-ordering things, and then they'll come out retail, and it's actually nicer. Sorry to get distracted, but it's actually nicer to see how the kind of gaming player base and everything is going to respond to games before kind of going in on something and trying to bring it to the table, try to get people to play it, because a lot of stuff that is crowdfunded and is very interesting as a product or as a mechanically as a game or a nice setting, it just doesn't get picked up. Like, just people don't play it, so it just kind of disappears. So it's nice to see when a community builds around something. So I think everybody that you kind of get something and then it never never does anything. You're going to be one of the few supporters. All right, so yeah, let's do this. Welcome to the weekly. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Matt.
Hey, Matt. So Chris is tied up at work, and Matt was kind enough to get on the television. So we'll have to
climb back into the box.
right. Very restricted. But before we get started, I would like to say a huge thank you to, we haven't done this in a while for the patrons. So our newest patron, Clarion. So thank you so much.
Yay.
Yes. So we've gotten a lot of support for the actual plays, and it's always been great to have Clarion in the chat. So officially on the Patreon. So that means, in the Discord and everything. So yeah, thank you so much. And I've got to get there's that group chat that Patreon has. I've got to get that going a little bit more. So that will be a great place to inform people on updates and our schedule and stuff for things. So we'll get that shared kind of social chat going, but also Discord will work for updates as well. So yeah, you're automatically, as a YouTube member or a Patreon member, you're automatically in the Discord. All right. So this week on the weekly, the D&D Debacle for D&D Beyond. Again, so erase that. We're back to 0 days since Wizards of the Coast screwed up. Gav Thorpe joins Konflikt'47. So the super group adds a member. Start Here RPG. And Dungeon World is purchased. So we'll find out who and what they're doing with it. So let's start out. There's several pieces of this because, of course, it comes out as it slowly rolls out. But we have D&D Beyond, so the digital tool set for 5e, having some difficulty adjusting to this 2024 revision. So the headline, I think on Polygon, was it's going to get worse before it gets better. So back in April of 2022, Hasbro purchased the D&D tool set that was kind of independently supported and run. So now it's a property of Hasbro, which is basically the front page of D&D 5e. And during the pandemic, I think it really gained popularity. That was probably the incentive for them to kind of get their claws into it. And now I think their idea is they're going to try to use that to funnel people into their their sigil, their sigil project. Yeah, so that was it's a nice way to have. It's not a VTT. It's a digital tool set, but you've got a fully functional, character sheet and dice rolling in a web-based or mobile app. So players never even have to own a physical rule book and probably have never even seen the rules because you can create a character, completely through the website. But they released a 2,400 word update for D&D Beyond in their forums saying this is what we're doing to transition the player's handbook content from this 2024 revision, so from 2014 to 2024. And there may be some workarounds required. So they basically just said, you're going to have to homebrew. We're going to change a lot of stuff. So your character sheet is going to get screwed up. And if you have certain magic items, certain spells, you're going to have to delete them because they're going to be wrong and just add it manually. So go back into the 2014 version and add it manually. So rebuild the spells and magic items. And they were just straightforward about that. They weren't even trying to make that something that was easy to do. They're just like, yeah, do it manually. If you're so in love with 2014, I guess you're just going to have to deal with it yourself. So it was quoted in the update as saying, if you wish to use the old version of a magic item or spell that has been replaced by its 2024 counterpart, you will need to create a homebrew copy of it and enable homebrew content on your character sheet. Then add it to your character sheet. So more heavy lifting for, dungeon masters. You gotta, go through everybody's character sheet and everything that they're carrying and casting. And so we went down. So just a few days ago, they did a period of scheduled maintenance to start getting this stuff ready. So that's why they braced people for the changes, because the player's handbook, the 2024 revision, has early access starting September 3rd, and then it's going to be full release September 17th. So people, of course, were not happy about this because if you've been playing for years or even just, I guess it probably has been years since the pandemic. So if you've been playing for years, people were worried. And immediately the talk was, we're going to lose access to the 2024 rules because they're just going to be overwritten by the new material from this update. So, but they assured people that D&D Beyond users won't lose access to the basic rules or any of the 2024 2014 material that you purchase through your user account. They will be, of course, automatically updating the character sheet, and that's screwing things up. So the things that will not be updated, the people may be worried about were or things that won't be overwritten, were classes, subclasses, species, formerly race, backgrounds, feats, and monsters. But people, so that gave you some kind of weird options. So there's both sets of rules in there. So you can do a 2014 character with a 2014 subclass. You can do a 2024 character with a 2014 subclass, but you can't do a 2014 with a 2024 subclass. So there's certain ways that they don't mix and match, just in case they're not letting you, I don't know, min-max too badly. Yeah, so that affected spells, skills, abilities, and magic items. So, of course, people were not happy about this, and they rolled it back. So instead of doing a forced update, immediately they released their little JPEG of we're sorry, and the let's see what the their text was. So they released an official D&D Beyond statement saying players who only have access to the 2014 Player's Handbook will maintain their characters' options, spells, and magical items in their character sheets. Players with access to the 2024 and 2014 handbooks can select from both. Players will not need to rely on homebrew to use their 2014 player options, and including spells, magic items, as recommended in our change log. So obviously, yeah, and some programmer, somebody working on Beyond, came to management and said, what are we going to do about this? How are we handling this? And the management said, fuck them. Don't put any extra hours into this. Like, don't bend over backwards. And you're not doing any overtime to solve this problem. So that's probably when the programmer's like, okay, then they can homebrew it, I guess. The easiest thing would just be turn on homebrew and, enter it manually. Okay, that's our official's position. So, yeah. So they walked it back, of course, and so the official announcement, they said, so all entries for mundane magic items, weapons, armor, spells are going to be updated, was their initial announcement, but then they're like, nope, sorry, no, it won't be. And then they also said on their latest announcement, we misjudged the impact of this change, and we agree that you should be free to choose your own way to play. All right. So, yeah, they don't understand that, every little thing that they adjust is going to affect some group, some player, and they're going to react. And especially because if they're playing online, they're already online. So they're just going to pull up their social media and be very unhappy, or, on their comment sections. So what do you think? What do you think about their handling of this?
Well, their handling is ham-handed as ever. Like someone needs to do a counter, you're an artist, do like a little 0 days since we fucked up sign for WotC.
Yeah.
It's like watching a dysfunctional relationship between a child and their parent,
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of annoyed at both of them.
Yeah, right. Yeah. There's no side to be on in this one. Yeah.
Hasbro WotC is a big, evil, greedy corporation. I hate that. The people that are in love with them are a bunch of whiny, overreacting tweakers. I hate that too.
Mm-hmm.
And I just had some discussions about this on Threads, and and I go with the kid gloves on Threads because I'm trying to be positive, a force for positivity. But the one person who made a comment that rang true with me was someone who said, I am learning disabled. I forget what the condition's called, but it's basically like dyslexia for math.
Mm-hmm.
I rely on D&D Beyond to create my characters and help manage everything. And they're going to totally ruin that for me.
Mm-hmm.
This is before they backtracked, of course. And the only thing about that bothers me is what D&D Beyond does, you can do for free
Yeah.
on most VTTs.
Right. Right.
Everyone, I guess, thinks VTT is where you host and play a game,
Mm-hmm.
but you could just go in, make a character, and pull it up when you're playing. You
Yeah.
know,
No, that's true. Yeah.
and Roll20, Foundry, I'm pretty sure, and definitely Alchemy, all have articles and or videos and or tools for taking your D&D Beyond character and importing it into their system. So it can be done. It's not as that hard, and it's just another thing where there's these people, man, trapped in that walled garden, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, climb the wall, goddammit, climb the wall.
Right. Right. Yeah, and I'm surprised they're having so much trouble with this because obviously their strategy was we're not going to do 6th edition. We're not even going to do 5.5. We're not calling it that because we don't want to disturb the player base. And it's impossible. There's no way to not do that because they're already creating two groups of D&D Beyond users, the people that are going to stick with 2014 and the people that are going to update to the 2024. And so they're already dividing people. And the thing that I don't understand, like after they acquired D&D Beyond, and I haven't used it, so I don't know that this is not true. But wouldn't it seem like they own it? They paid money for it. You know, they have the rights to it. Why isn't every version of Dungeons and Dragons has ever existed available inside D&D Beyond? That would be so powerful because there's some people that would want to play, you know, authentically old school rules, not a reinterpretation like OSR, but the old school rules, and they should make that available. It's like there seems to be missing a big aspect of that. I mean, it's a huge amount of additional work, you know, additional content and you know, maybe compatibility issues with that platform, but it just doesn't make sense that they're completely ignoring that they're just leaving that to the world of PDFs. You know, it's just like, there's a PDF available, you know, a bad scan of the old rule books.
Yeah, I can tell you it's probably at least partly because Hasbro wants this to become basically their version of a video game. And that's not what video game companies do.
Right.
So screw you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I think we talked about that last week too. It's like I don't think they realize having all these Microsoft people and people that are involved in MMOs and stuff working on this. They don't realize that now Project Sigil is competing with MMOs, and Miguel brought up the point. I would rather pay for Final Fantasy 14. It's going to be much cheaper than whatever WotC comes up with, and a more satisfying experience. So, and they're competing with that now. So you know how they talk about, you know, competing for people's time. If you're making it if you're relying too much on a digital platform, then people are like, well, I'm online. I would rather be online gaming than online gaming. You know, it's like they are now an online game. And so it's going to be a little different. And I don't think they understand. Now they've opened themselves up to much bigger competition than Roll20 and Foundry and that kind of stuff. Yeah. Much bigger fish out there. But just in case you were... and this may tie into something we talked about before as well. There was an announcement. This is more WotC news in their D&D Direct video presentation about third-party content for D&D Beyond. So Wizards of the Coast, in this video announcement, released their creator partners, and a bunch of logos came up on the screen. And they didn't go too much into it, but in going into 2025, these are the partners, the people that they're going to be working with to create the third-party content on their official, you know, digital tool set. And some of the logos up there were Free League Publishing, Kobold Press, Hit Point Press, Griffin Saddlebags, MCDM, Dungeon Dudes, and Ghostfire Gaming. So... some of those people, it's not great that they're joining forces. You know, I mean, it's a they'd done 5e, conversions of some of their rules and settings. So, I guess Free League would be involved in that. But do you think that contributed to why they can't allow free PDFs anymore on a competing digital platform? Is that, could that have been one of the reasons that Free League decided, yeah, I guess we can't give Alchemy our PDFs because we're doing digital content for the 5e version of Saborum on
yeah, it could be. It could be.
Really?
Yeah, that's depressing to think that WotC is pulling strings at other companies. But,
yeah,
ick.
Yeah. So that was kind of depressing. I was sad to see Free League in there. They've been involved with 5e. The One Ring has the Middle Earth role play, and the Ruins of Saborum. It's all 5e stuff. And so they're definitely going to stay involved. But I was surprised to see Kobold Press on there. It's like, that's what they've been doing is third-party stuff. But what happened to the Tales of the Valiant? They're competing with themselves now. That's not a good idea.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was another little piece of fun WotC news. So yeah, everyone's forgotten about all that old GL stuff, and it's just like, so wait, how do we make money with these guys again? Let's get back in on this.
Do you think, like, I keep wondering this, like, would it be financially devastating for like Goodman Games to just stick with Dungeon Crawl Classics and not do the little 5e supplements? Like,
I wonder. Yeah,
are they making so much off of that stuff that
it's. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably more because I wonder what their actual player base is for Dungeon Crawl Classics. It may be, maybe not enough. They kind of need that as support because those are probably guaranteed sellers in a way.
It's funny because they're usually they're classic modules, right? They're usually classic old school D&D adventures,
right?
That they are republishing. They stat them for DCC or they stat them for 5e, and it's like, I feel like there's a huge, I could be wrong, but I feel like there's a huge section or a huge chunk of modern 5e D&D players who don't know and or give a crap about 40-year-old modules.
Right. Yeah, they probably would never touch that content. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is it is an odd thing, but it must be because it divides their crowdfunding and stuff. Yeah, when they do that, they have to have two separate pledges. What do you want, 5e or do you want DCC for everything? So and it is a space, and it may be a space that starts to disappear as things get more digital for D&D. Who knows? But what if you want to get somebody into the hobby? What if you're trying to you throw a player's handbook or a core rule book at somebody and say, we're playing next week, learn this game? Well, that doesn't work in most cases. It's a little daunting, the coursework involved in getting into an RPG. But Start Here RPG is trying to solve that. So from their crowdfunding page, the first thing that the first question that is asked on the page is, are you dice curious? So they're interpreting role-playing games as a little bit more, maybe more of a lifestyle. Have you ever thought about trying a tabletop RPG or tabletop role-playing game, but the rules seem just so much? Well, then try Start Here. So learn easy rules in just a few minutes and get on with the game. So an effort to get family and friends and people not really that interested in the hobby over that barrier to entry. There's a current Kickstarter campaign, and I did notice they shut down. They did have an Indiegogo, so maybe they felt like this could be bigger than Indiegogo and did a full-fledged Kickstarter campaign. But Start Here last year showed up on Indiegogo, but that campaign has been taken down. So they're trying to make for more than 30 years, it says the tabletop gaming hobby has needed a good introductory game, and this is it. So if you're tired of those $60 400-page rule books, and the thing that feels like you need a complete coursework before playing, here's a game you can learn in 5 to 10 minutes, something fast and easy. So they're saying, they're not really competing with starter sets, the introductory sets for other systems, and that those sets are not less complicated. They're just giving you less of the game, so they're not giving you all the rules. So it seems less complicated, but it's just a small piece of a larger system. So this whole project has been headed by Tim Beach, so a designer from the for TSR in the 90s, so over 30 years of gaming experience. So he worked on the Monstrous Manual, the Forgotten Realms, Pages from the Mage, Dark Sun, and for some other companies besides TSR, Pinnacle Entertainment, Goodman Games, and Ulysses Spiel. So worked on the Dark Eye English rules. Nice. So currently the physical rewards for this campaign are limited to North America, so the US and Canada, but they're looking into ways to kind of opening it up, and they'll do an update during the campaign to see what they can do for shipping and what's available. Because if you just kind of blindly go into this, you end up with some crazy shipping costs for international customers. But what they're doing is making a simple system, and then also creating. Currently, they have 24 settings to play in for this gaming system. 4 of them are going to be released in this Kickstarter campaign, and those 4 systems are Serpents and Strongholds, their fantasy setting with elves, dwarves, and magic, and of course dragons, on their fantasy world called Earth with no A, so ERTH. And then Wizards and Wranglers is their Wild West setting on Earth, no A, and so slinging spells and guns. Zombiesaurus Rex, Earth's 21st century post-apocalyptic setting, so scientists are resurrecting dinosaurs. Star X is their space opera setting, and so more like classic, like 50s sci-fi. Or I guess 50s, 60s sci-fi. But they say their beginner rules are finished and have been play tested. They needed to do a little bit more work with their experienced rules. So they're kind of doing a basic and expert set. And this is all being done by Beach House Games. Yeah, so in September 2023, it was on Indiegogo, but they shut that down to try this Kickstarter. So 3 books are being released. The first book is Beginning Players. So it's the basic concepts of the Start Here system. Book 2 is Experienced Players. So these are rules for leveling up your character, and more comprehensive guides for game masters. And this adds the Star X, their sci-fi, or I guess space opera setting. And then book 3 is their campaign sampler, and that gives you all of the details of Serpents and Strongholds, SpaceX, Zombisaurus Rex, and Wizards and Wranglers. So there are some top-notch writers involved in this project. So Ed Greenwood, Elisa Teague, Jamie Chambers, Janelle Jacquez, Misha Bushager, Wes Nicholson. So a lot of recognizable names have contributed text to the settings and to the games. So yeah, it's got some cred. It's got some experience and credibility behind it. Do you think this is necessary, and do you think they'll ever solve this problem?
No.
It's impossible.
1,000 indie game designers cry out in frustration. There are a million simple games you can purchase and try. Mm-hmm. There are a million games that offer you different worlds to play in with the same system.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I mean, good on them, but they're a drop in the bucket. Right. These exist. I'm literally getting ready to set up Outgun in Alchemy,
right?
And I'm like, this is an Outgun, except I'm looking at a page where they actually discuss the system.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Kickstarter doesn't. And I hate that when you look at a Kickstarter and for a game that's supposed to be all new, mm-hmm. and they don't tell you in the text how the freaking game works.
right.
It's a die 20 test resolution system. It's like, what are you simplifying?
You're right. Right. and building a gateway. Basically, they're building a gateway not to the hobby, but probably straight to D&D. You know, it kind of is gonna seems to be pushing people that way. You're not going to be able to keep people in the beginner space, you know, for very long. Even if they pick up your game to get into the hobby, they're going to move beyond it, you know, pretty quickly.
Did you see their original cover art?
Oh no, I just saw the.
It has a 2-sword wielding white-haired drow on the cover.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. So no, no resemblance to anybody that. Yeah. So it's weird. It's weird that an independent company would be building a even easier starter set to D&D because they're sticking with the D20. And they're sticking with all the tropes, you know, all the tropes of games that TSR has released in the past. But and I guess, you know, they're coming out of it. They're coming out of that you know, old school tradition of 90s, you know, what RPGs were like in the 90s. So this is, you know, what they're expecting. Yeah. So it's funny. And we've seen this a couple of times. What was that one? It was a guy that like worked for, you know, some Gizmodo or something that did the simple fantasy RPG that they were giving to public schools, you know, for free to play. I forget.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that in a while, but they were pushing pretty hard.
I mean, there's a whole movement of one-page role-playing games, you know what I mean? And it's like, this isn't going to be simpler than that. Yeah. So what are we really doing here?
Right. Yeah, it seems like they're definitely ignoring a big chunk of the hobby and just saying, you know, anything that has to have an ISBN number to be a legitimate, you know, to be a legitimate release. So that those aren't products. They have to be sitting on the shelves of Barnes and Noble. Yeah, so it's interesting. I always am curious about the motivation for creating this, and so I did an unboxing. I haven't posted it yet, but I'm in the process of editing an unboxing for the Agents of Dune box, which is kind of the the starter set that they that Modifius did for Dune. And I had that same thought while I was like, you know, because I used a little bit of these mechanics and some of the ideas from this box in our campaign, but I was thinking if you purely ran this, I think you would come to a point where you're just like, okay, we want to play the real game now, so let's just stop doing this. You know, so they have a 3-act campaign that you can play, and it looks interesting, and it's got nice escalation of action, and teaches you the rules. But eventually, you're like, can we get the training wheels off? I think we got it now, and so I don't think you'll ever finish this campaign in that Dune box set, and you'll want to get into the real game, creating your own house, and doing it from scratch. So this feels like that. It's like, why am I spending time in this tutorial? Like, you're making a tutorial mode for a hobby that I just want to play it. Let's just get into it.
Yeah, this probably could have just been a quick start PDF, and then you sell us the real thing.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. But they got a lot of people to contribute. And I guess, basically saying, let's get more people into the hobby. This is the easiest way to do that. And so, they solicit.
That's a whole nother discussion. I had like an hour-long talk with Will about that the other day. Maybe after we close, when we're in the chat, we can talk about it. But does everyone need to play role-playing games? My answer is no.
That's true. Yeah, I think that the broader, that's true. The broader the hobby gets, like the bigger the player base, the weirder it gets, because you realize how many different ideas about what to do at a table exist. Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that after. So stay tuned, live stream viewers, and Patreon listeners. And then the next piece, so the supergroup keeps forming. I can just see the spandex and the big hair and everything as they take to the stage for a reunion tour. So Gav Thorpe is joining Warlord Games and Konflikt'47. So the Weird Science World War II game has attracted yet another 40K designer from the 90s. So Andy Chambers was the first person that we announced, But Gav Thorpe has worked on 3rd, 4th, and 5th edition Warhammer and the Codices, and also Fantasy Battles and Inquisitor and Warhammer Quest. And then you also know him as a Black Library author and Horus Heresy. He won awards for his War Beast novel. And so he's been working as a freelancer, and previously he collaborated with Chambers on some of the 2000 AD games that Warlord had done, like the Judge Dredd, the Strontium Dog, and the ABC Warriors. So those are kind of just miniature skirmish games in that 2000 AD setting. But Warlord Games officially announced last Monday that he is joining the team. So Konflikt'47 is the spin-off of Bolt Action, their historical wargaming 28mm system. It's an alternative history with weird science elements, and basically why it's 47 is because the discovery of all these interdimensional rifts and super advanced technology has extended the war. So World War II drags on in the weirdest way possible. So Thorpe said, I grew up with World War II model kits, and my first ever homegrown simple rules were used for a set of 172 scale figures. I've added many World War II games of different scales and types ever since, and always been a huge fan of and has an esoteric knowledge and alternate history. So he likes the weird science and alternate history of Konflikt'46. So it's going to be loads of fun to write. And they've made another announcement last week as well. Cam Rogers has joined the team as a narrative lead. So he's from the video game industry. He worked on narratives from Warframe and Quantum Break. So he's highly knowledgeable and will be a good addition to the team. And they need a lot of help. So we talked about last week or the week before Bill King of previous Warhammer, but also Mutant Chronicles fame being added to the group. And Thorpe said, I'm a big fan of Bill's work. I've met him a few times, and this is the first time we've collaborated. So the question is, this is the next edition of new edition of Konflikt'47 they're working on, and Bolt Action has just released their 3rd edition rules. So they're going to keep using the 3rd edition rules and stay connected to Bolt Action as a kind of an alternative setting, or are they going to, because they have all these rules designers and and writers now, are they going to kind of change the setting and change the mechanics of the game and make it more unique? So the original Bolt Action rules, of course, were also written by 40K alumnus Rick Priestley and Alessio Cavator. So yeah, it's all just refugees and contractors from Games Workshop. So yeah, we'll see what they actually do, if they're going to change the game or kind of stick with what's been working so far. And I'm just curious now. They're adding so many people. That's a lot of paychecks, and I wonder if this game can really grow and support, that many people trying to build it out into a more complicated game. It's got stuff that it's competing with. There's a lot of weird World War II miniature games out there, so they've got a lot of competition. Dust has kind of faded. That was one of the bigger ones for a while. That's kind of faded, but there's also a few other smaller games, and even games that are either miniatures agnostic or so you're just modding, basically World War II model kits, or have 3D printing options for the games. So we'll see if all of this name recognition is going to be worth it. But Warlord, definitely likes their their 90s creators from Games Workshop. So we'll see what they come up with. I'd like to read a lot of stuff, and it'd be interesting if it comes like I thought would work, is if you get good fiction written for a setting to go along with an interesting game, that it'll kind of generate popularity and help build the world. So they've got good writers now involved in this, and people that have gone through generations of rules. So we'll see if that increases the popularity and the player numbers for Konflikt'47. But I like Warlord Games. I've always supported a lot of the projects they've done. So we'll see what happens. So wait for that new edition. So you have your power armored troops, your werewolves and super soldiers in 1947 European conflict. We'll see how that goes.
I didn't actually know who Gav Thorpe was. So I looked it up. That guy has written a ton of Black Library books. A ton.
All these guys are insanely prolific. They do rules and they do codices and they write novels. Yeah.
So I picture them just like meeting at a pub out in Nottingham, and like every time they meet, they've added someone else who used to work for Games Workshop.
Right. Yeah. I think that's what's happening. They all are going to the same bar now, but it's nice, and it must be a comfortable environment because you're not dealing with like weird, generational, stuff. And I think and surprisingly, Bolt Action is a surprisingly big competitor to in some areas, like in certain parts of the world. A lot more people play Bolt Action than even like 40K. Like people that want historical wargaming. And don't want the silliness or the grim dark or the badass edgelord stuff of it. Hobby shops will support Bolt Action more than they'll support other miniature war games. So yeah, it's interesting. Maybe they're trying to take advantage of that and give a little bit of a different flavor, another option to historical games, maybe for younger people or people that politically are like, do I have to play the Nazis? Looking for a Nazi-free setting or a fascist-free setting, I guess. So. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. But yeah, I'm interested just to read the books that they're gonna maybe eventually publish. That'll be fun to read some weird World War II fiction. All right, and our last piece of news was a little odd thing, and this has been a couple of weeks. I missed this last week. So Dungeon World is getting new owners, and so a second edition is planned. And so a little bit of controversy. This may not happen because things have gone badly for this individual before. So Luke Crane has purchased Dungeon World with a financial partner, and he's planning to publish a new edition. So he purchased it from the original creators, and he previously has designed The Burning Wheel, Mouse Guard, and other games. And he announced in the Dungeon World Plus Discord that he bought the game from the creators. So that's Adam Koebel and Sage Latora. And they are going to be releasing a new edition. So the first edition was released in 2012. So yeah, quite a while ago, 12 years ago. It won Game of the Year for the Golden Geek and any awards for best rules. It's a Powered by Apocalypse system, which I think is kind of losing popularity. I haven't seen any newer games using that system.
It's kind of fallen off.
Yeah. So I wonder if it's going to be a dramatic switch, or if it's just going to be maybe trying to refine it a little bit, just kind of upgrade it a little bit for different sensibilities. So yeah, that's a D6. You're rolling 2d6 all the time, basically. But the controversy kind of goes along with the one of the co-creators of this original game, this first edition game. So Adam Koebel. So he was a prominent creator in tabletop and a personality, did actual plays online. But had some bad behavior, with canceled in Wheel Company now has the rights for Dungeon, and it's not clear. There hasn't been any indications one way or another if Koebel or Latora are involved. And if that comes up, if that's a question he can't get away from, it might be pointless to try to release this. But in a interview, this might have been actually not a formal interview, but just like a question on Discord. Jeremy Strandberg, creator of Stonetop, was asking about his Crane's view or his new vision for Dungeon World. So Crane wrote, "May I be direct here? I hope I won't offend anyone if I'm critical of the game. I only critique things I love and respect, so please read me charitably. At the most basic level, Dungeon World as it stands is in need of a good edit. Just cleaning up the text alone would give the game a new breath of life. The book's organization is a lot. Maybe its concepts could be better broken down to make sure players have critical information to get started, and then full stop. The material becomes extra. It's also full of assumptions that I feel are unnecessary in expressing the concepts and the system of the game. My vision is a sleeker, tighter text, cleaned up with mechanics and new art, color maybe, that retains the game's accessibility. a reasonable price point. Dungeon World is easier to grok than the current edition of D&D. For most people who want to play D&D, I think it is fucking magic. So I want to retain the quality above all else. So we'll see. So yeah, it doesn't sound like it's going to be a radical revision. I think he wants to keep what's there, but yeah, I think it is harder and harder. The kind of popularity of Powered by the Apocalypse is waning. So to kind of revive a game with that system, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be necessary, but yeah, it'll be out there, and I think it's a nice. We played a couple of sessions of it, just kind of like throwing characters together, really fast, the way you do in Powered by the Apocalypse, and it's satisfying. It's a satisfying dungeon crawl. You can really do the system works well for that, much better than I thought, because previously we had played Monster Hearts and a lot more, like narrative-y, kind of squishier games, but this worked well as a dungeon crawl. So yeah, it should be around as an option. So what do you think? Is this we're going to see the light of day with this, or will controversy follow
Well,
Crane?
I mean, Luke Crane is a very successful user of Kickstarter. He did, he's Burning Wheel, which was very successful, and Torchbearer, House Guard. I own Burning Wheel and Torchbearer. They do some really interesting stuff in them, and they were one of those games. They're those games that have like an OSR vibe, but they're not like a old school D&D derived kind of thing.
Right.
They're not really for me. The systems are, especially Burning Wheel. The combat is weird as
yeah.
But they're interesting. They have some unique ideas. So I don't really know why he wants to do another fantasy dungeon delving kind of game.
Yeah.
But he's good at it. He's been very successful at it. So it probably, he's a little bit of a hipster. But as far as the other dude,
Kobo, Adam,
Dr. Pink Hair.
Oh yeah, right. Yes.
Yeah, if he does emerge as being part of it, then yeah, it'll probably kill it. But that guy, man, before his little weird robot rape scandal,
right.
I would watch his videos once in a while and be like, "There's something about this guy." Yeah. I think this is way more about him trying to get laid than it is about gaming.
Right.
Came off as kind of not genuine and greasy. And then when that happened, I think like Will told me about it or something. I was like, oh, of course.
Yeah, you weren't surprised. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's strange because he was everywhere in the 20 teens. You couldn't get away from Adam Koebel, and then just gone. So became a bit of a pariah. So yeah, I don't know.
That hit, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think his little scandal hit right around the height of the Me Too kind of thing. So
yeah.
Whatever you think about what he did, it was wrong place, wrong time. You out of here.
Right. And it's one of those things. If he didn't get caught for that, it probably would have been something else. Because it did seem like he had trouble with boundaries and kind of understanding what players, not getting a vibe at the table, and really freaking people out. And the fact that it was on video, like the fact that you can actually see this happen, that you don't know, like people talk differently when they're doing a radio interview than they do in real life. So just, kind of rein it in a little bit, have your little weird ideas and keep it to yourself. But, don't bring that out for the public. So do you think Dungeon World, because I think it's a pretty recognizable, it was, very early on alternative, dungeon crawling. Do you think that brand or that name is enough to make people curious and bring them to just at least check out the project and see, what's this all about? I've heard of this. Oh, what is,
Yeah, yeah. Even though I feel like Powered by the Apocalypse stuff is sort of on the decline,
Mhm.
in conversations I have on threads with people, there's a lot of times with people on there who want to know about game alternatives to the Dragon game.
Mhm. Mhm.
That one gets mentioned quite a bit, actually.
Mm-mm.
Um, I don't like the Powered by the Apocalypse system. I
Uh-huh,
think
uh-huh.
it's supposed to be cool and narrative, but I think it's actually very limiting.
Mhm. Mhm.
But that's just my opinion.
No, I can see that. Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's it has the moves, and it's like it's the same feeling I had with when I got tricked into playing fourth edition a few months back. It was like, wait a minute, I just want to do this thing. And you're like, well,
Mhm.
you can't do that thing because you don't have a thing on your character sheet that says you can do that thing. Oh, this game is stupid.
Right. Right. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm really curious. Yeah, what the motivation was for this. I mean, is it kind of an attempt at a redemption? To try to bring this back, because I think it's been tarnished. One of the co-creators, kind of disappearing from the scene, I think has tarnished the reputation a little bit of Dungeon World. And it is a functional dungeon crawl, and it's like, it was really easy too for a group of people that had never really played together, playing a very traditional style of game with the new funny rules. I think it let us kind of just riff on a pretty fun version of fantasy. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I don't know what the motivation, besides money. I don't know what the motivation is, but it seems like he's like buying the brand. That's what it feels like. It's like, I think there might be some juice left in this old lemon. So we'll see what kind of squeeze he can get. But yeah, we'll keep track of that and find out who's involved and and if this is going to happen. But yeah, losing a job at Kickstarter couldn't have been great over that. Over who you're working with. Interesting. All right, so that is going to do it for this week. So Matt, where can people find you?
I'm on Threads and Instagram at Hargold, Hargald. I just finished a survey on there the other day,
Mhm.
yesterday, I think it concluded, where I was asking if a GM, getting people's opinion, should a GM provide a full rules PDF to their players, or just relevant handouts, or a partial PDF, or
Mm-hmm.
ask the players to buy their own copy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really interesting. I got all those. Someone picked all of those options,
Oh.
and I think I got like 40 total responses and
Mm-hmm.
about 10 like comments, and 80% though said give your players a PDF,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought was kind of cool. Certainly not what companies and their lawyers would like you to say,
Right.
but
Right.
I thought it was, yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
There was one person who was like, I'm not giving them anything. Nothing comes for free, yada, yada, yada. And then I looked at her profile. It was
Oh.
professional game master. And I'm like,
Yeah, right. I get
all right, all right.
paid by the hour. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I think I could go both ways on that, because with complicated games, it's nice to have the help of the players, where I'm like, wait a minute, what is that? Is that +1? What do we do with that? And to have somebody like, be able to be looking that up while you're like readying something, for a scene. I like that. That works well with like Pathfinder. That worked well, where the players read the rules also, so we were all able to support and do kind of rules lookups and stuff on our phones for like edge case kind of stuff. But
Mhm.
so I do like that. But for simpler games, I really do like not knowing, like Deathmatch Island. It was really fun not knowing that system and just
Yeah,
rolling with it, like going in and saying, okay, so how do we do this? What do I roll? Okay, and yeah,
yeah, yeah,
that's fun too, because it's that kind of emergent gameplay and kind of like putting the pieces together, and especially when it's a mysterious setting, when your character is like, what the hell's going on? What the hell is going on? If the game mechanics is fun too, yeah. It adds a
yeah.
lot.
I think I err on the side of just give them enough that they can play the game and you can handle everything on the back end. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
but enough of this. Where can people find you?
Well, they'll be finding me next week doing my September live stream for Abuse Cartoons. So Abuse Cartoons on YouTube and Twitch. So subscribe to one of those to get notified when it goes live. But it's also going to be on this channel. So if you're a subscriber of Upturned Table, I will also live stream here, because why not? So I draw my single panel gag cartoon, Domestic Abuse. If you want to read it and find out what it's all about, you can go to gocomics.com/domestic abuse and read 20 years of little jokes and sad pieces of furniture and food. But if you like what we're doing here on the weekly, and a big thanks to Kalarian again for becoming our newest patron, you can go to patreon.com/upturnedtable. And there you can become a weekling, the supporter of the weekly, and kind of just directly let us know what you'd like to see on this show. There's other pledge levels or tiers to show your support. And actually that's kind of like a vote for what you're interested in and seeing, the more content on the site. And on the Patreon, we have the RSS feed, which is all of the audio from this live stream, our actual play audio, all kinds of stuff goes up there. And you can also find everything on upturnedtable.com, as well as the podcast version. So just what we talk about between the kind of warm up and between the banter and the ramble is the podcast. And that's what goes on to Spotify and all of that, all those good places, Google Podcasts, or I guess it's YouTube Music now. I don't know where Google stuff went, but you can find us there. And so thank you so much for watching and listening this week. So like this video if you're watching it, or give us a comment on the podcast. That helps as well for discovery on Apple Podcasts or any of the platforms, to let people know that, hey, it ain't so bad. I enjoy this every week. And we'll be back again next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
You
All right. Well, good, good. I hope. Yeah, I think there was the audio from the train footage. Sorry, that was on, that was enabled. Maybe you were hearing that during our little break there. Sorry, sorry for the extra noise there. But thanks for pointing that out, Carolina. Always got to be careful with the doubling doubling audio. I'm real good at creating a video source that is also a microphone. Nice. Oh, yeah. Miguel pointed out when we were talking earlier about foreign languages in films and stuff. Yeah, Hunt for Red October did that as a good transition. Yeah, from the language of the two characters to everyone speaking English. Yeah, I kind of like that when they do that as well, because then you can definitely, once everyone switches to English, like first they're going to speak Elvish or whatever, and as soon as you recognize in the world everyone understands each other, then you can switch to something that I don't have to read.
I like, a lot of people dump on it, but I like what they did in 13th Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's traveling with the Vikings. They're all speaking, fake Old Norse. And
right.
He's sitting every night.
Oh, you froze. Oh,
speak, and it's a couple words. What's the matter?
Oh, you froze for a sec. Sorry. Yeah, there's just a little hiccup. So yeah.
But he just like around the campfire while they're traveling, he gradually picks up words, and then eventually, when they get to where they're going, he can speak with them no problem. It's kind of unrealistic. Well, it's a lot unrealistic, but it was kind of fun. Like I kind of enjoyed what they did with it.
Nice. Yeah, it's a good way to kind of also simulate learning a language. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, and especially if it's part of the narrative, part of the story of the film, where somebody they assimilate into a culture or kind of learn the ways of people. That language thing helps. Yes. So let's see here. What's going on? Yeah, nice to see you, Abyss. Yeah, sorry. I think we dropped some frames, so I think I had internet hiccup on my end, and it slowed down your Discord video.
Yeah, there was a minute there I was panicking while in the main show because I was losing like every other word you were saying. It was like, oh, don't ask me a question. Don't ask me a question.
Oh no. Yeah. Discord sometimes is a little dicey. And I'm worried, with the bad weather coming up, I'm worried our internet's gonna go down. It doesn't happen often, but during typhoon stuff it does. All right. Yeah, so Battletech drama. Oh, Aeon Cow from Twitch. Yeah, good to have you in the chat. Oh yeah, so he had an interesting comment. We were talking about when we were talking about the third party people that were going to be involved in D&D Beyond. He's saying that the MCDM is going to be on a timer because they're going to probably back out. Once their system is up and at its full sales potential, they might stop producing third party for 5th edition. Nice.
So anybody jump on the grenade and watch the first episode of Ring of Power season 2?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
Oh man!
Because I was curious if they learned any lessons, and it's the same thing. They did the exact same thing, and it's weird. They're kind of doubling down on some of their stupid ideas. They're like saying, "You thought this is really stupid and coincidental. A big too much coincidence. Well, we're going to prove that it was." And but they said that. While they were airing the first season, they'd already written the second season, and then with the writers' strike, they're probably unable to make any changes, so they just had to stick with the garbage that they did last time. But it's they threw a lot more money. Like the first episode, obviously, it has a ton of CG in it, so they're throwing a lot more money at it to make it look more interesting, and they picked up the pace. It had a quicker pacing just for that episode, I think, at the beginning to kind of make it more dramatic, make it feel more like the Peter Jackson films. It had big score and more dramatic events happening, but just nothing. It's just a whole bunch of nothing. Yeah. So I don't know. And they're really going to do 5 seasons of that? I can't.
5?
Yeah. I think that's what they committed to. Because
wow.
that's what the weird little. But things have changed so much now because Embracer owns all of that. But I think the deal they made with the Middle Earth Enterprises originally was it was only for TV and no less than a certain number of episodes or 5 seasons. I think is what it ended up being. So that was the contract. I mean, maybe they can they can break it. They're Amazon.
So if they're locked into that, that every season, I bet you, is going to have a smaller budget than the last.
Right. It's still going to
by season 5, it's going to be another episode in the tavern.
Just a lot of walking and talking. Yeah, with
a lot of Canadian forests. Or something.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I don't get what they're I don't get what they're doing. It's very odd, and it's gonna. I don't know. It ruins the kind of what is special about those books and that setting. But I think all of the stuff that Amazon has done, like Wheel of Time and everything, I think it's kind of ruined the how people regarded it. And if this is going to be people's first experience of Tolkien is seeing Rings of Power, it's going to be really bad. Oh, and there was, I don't think I saw this. I only watched the first episode, and I guess they released 3. But somebody was saying in a podcast review that they literally do "It's a ring of power," like they literally like give a titular line for in the episode.
Oh wow!
So they don't, call it a dwarven ring or whatever. They're like, no, it's a ring of power, and I could just see the logo.
Power, as referenced on page 273 of the Dungeon Master's Guide.
Yeah.
Orcus said he watched time minutes, and it was absolutely horrible.
Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird.
That's another one I'm afraid of, man. I'm just like, no.
Yeah, it's the everything is wrong about it. I watched the setup, the establishing kind of episode of that. The little kid they got it does okay. Like, he's like, always a little that, like, a show that like the little kid is like the main character, just like the original movie. Like he has to be good and has to be watchable on screen. And the kid they got is okay. I don't like how they're characterizing him. He's just like a history geek or whatever. But yeah, it doesn't make any sense that the way that they are they're doing, and they're not adding anything interesting. It's just kind of it almost feels like one of those like weird 90s shows, those cheap 90s syndicated shows based on a movie that was kind of popular, like The Crow or something.
Lisa Kudrow in it.
Yeah,
So.
right, yeah. So it is a 90s television show basically.
Yeah. I was talking to some people about this the other day of our age group, and there's a thing with Time Bandits that even though it's a fantasy and about a little kid and there's all kinds of wackiness in it, there's still this like adult darkness in there. Like his house burns down, his parents blow up. The Time Bandits themselves initially are gonna rob him, kill him, or leave him to die.
Right.
Like none of that would have happened now.
No, that's true.
Like,
yeah, that's really true. They definitely have to soften it because it does have that edge. And yeah, they just can't make content like that anymore because they think, they're thinking too much about the kid audience and maybe like parent approval and stuff of content. So yeah, all of that is gone. You're not able to like, so easily write for two audiences, at the same time, and the kids kind of miss the like, oh, that's really horrible. they kind of the kids miss that and just enjoy the adventure. Yeah, the only thing I like about that I think would work well for episodic television is how they're just like falling. They're just like jumping through holes and just like falling into things. That's a great, almost like a. Some of the the like shows
Quantum Leap.
That's it. That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah, that's a great gimmick to start an episode. Is they just where do they fall into this week? So yeah, obviously it makes sense. But yeah, the atmosphere totally changing and kind of the sensibility, because I think at least the writer, I think for the first episode I watched, I don't know if he's or director, maybe he directed the episode, but it's the Taika Waititi, and so it has his tone in it, but a little bit kind of modified version of him. So it's that same sort of banter. So his stuff I'm starting to get like tired of, like the Joss Whedon kind of stuff where you can like you feel it's him, without even seeing the credits. You're just like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's what this is.
But see, Taika Waititi was better when he got to be a little dark. What We Do in the Shadows, I love that movie.
Oh yeah.
And it's funny and silly, but also bloody and dark.
Right.
And like you can do all these things at once, but Disney's not going to let you do it.
Right. Yeah, I think that's the problem. Oh, Calarian is asking, the Dune box set is, so the Dune box set is a pre-gen house and 5 pre-gen characters. And basically the adventure, there's no rules in the box. They just have the adventure, and they give you the rules details where necessary. They explain the different mechanics where necessary. And the one thing that's a little bit odd is the first thing you read to the players is, these are what drives are, and this is what skills are, and this is what momentum is. It's like, you give them this like list of rules before you start playing, and it is reiterated, and like the concepts are reintroduced as they come up in the gameplay. But so I don't know. I think it as a box set, I'm not sure if it does the job. And as soon as it's like, oh, I got this now, I get this system, you're probably out of the adventure. And
I feel like I'm sorry.
No, go.
Dune is to me, it's kind of like advanced 2D20. Like,
Mm.
even though it's technically maybe less crunch, I'm not sure, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe less crunch than the older 2D20
Mm-hmm.
games. Its concepts and how you use them feel more advanced to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does that make sense?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, it is. Well, they abstract. Yeah, they try to make like one system work for any scale, for physical combat, for social interaction, just for setting a mood, putting the vibe out there. There's mechanics. The mechanics are supposed to be able to work to do all of that.
Mhm.
And yeah. So it definitely needs an easy way in to like help you kind of to frame it. And I think that that's what they're trying to do in the box set is like, okay, now you're rolling to do this, but now you're doing that same kind of roll, but you're doing this. Yeah, see what we're doing. That they kind of like
Mhm.
walk you through that. But I really think that the fun part of it is the house building, the planet building, and then figure out what kind of character you want to be in that in the context of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm glad we kind of cut our teeth on other 2D20
Mm-hmm.
games
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like, I mean, not for Terry,
Yeah.
because he hadn't played any of them, but for
Right.
me and Will, it was like we were kind of finally up to speed. Oh no, he played Star Trek first, huh?
Oh yeah. Star Trek
Yeah,
was
yeah. So he knew 2D20,
Mm-hmm.
but we were like, it felt like we were finally up to speed with the rhythms
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
of that game when we started doing. And you kind of need to be because
Yeah.
it's so much about the the intrigue and everything.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. I think it and maybe yeah, they don't really think about that, but yeah, they are kind of each iteration of 2D20 is kind of adding on to what had been before. So being having experience with an earlier version does help a lot because yeah, it's Dune is a lot to just like get immediately into. And I think just having the rule book and never having played anything maybe but 5e before, it's pretty daunting. Yeah, how you get into it, but
I'm a
yeah,
little
yeah.
worried about that new Conan RPG.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because the quick start, I was gonna run it for you guys, but
Hmm.
I think I'm just 100 billion times rather run outgun stuff for you guys.
Okay, cool.
Um, so yeah, but
Yeah.
the quick start is literally just kill a thing, move forward, kill another thing. Like they didn't provide you any of the rules for any other aspect of the game
Mm.
other than just killing things.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I'm just like, and the combat rules, they're okay. Like
Hmm.
I'm just like, but there's nothing there. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. So I'm kind of like, well, what's the rest of this game gonna be like?
Yeah.
Now I'm a little worried.
Interesting. Yeah, I wonder too. Yeah, because that's Monolith, right? So they have all of their cardboard tiles and their miniatures and everything, you know, to use there. So maybe they are a little bit too into. Yeah, this is going to be a great. It's going to be RPG like the board game, but more RPG. So and
Yeah,
in the board game, you're just combat. Yeah, you're just you're looking in huts and turning over stones and killing stuff. So.
which I mean, let's be honest. A big part of Conan stuff, it should probably be killing things.
Mhm, mhm, right.
But I don't know. We've had these talks before, but the whole thing with Conan is how like it's not like he's a superhero. He just literally gets out of situations through grit and force of will,
Hmm. Hmm.
And
Right.
like so I want a role playing game that will emulate that, like
Yeah. No,
which
that's true.
now the more I think about it, maybe they should have just done a second edition for 2D20.
Right. Right.
But yeah, I don't know.
Mm. Yeah, that's true. Because I think there's always there's horror involved and mystery involved. It's like in most of the Conan stories. So yeah, I think that's an important part of it. Not just barbarian smash.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's too bad. I hoped that they would do something interesting with it, but maybe they are a little bit weighed down and just kind of like doing an advanced version of their board game rules. Let's add the board game with talking. So I don't know.
And the other funny thing,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Robert E. Howard went to a lot of trouble to create this world that Conan adventures in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's I mean, not like Tolkien, like he's not writing myths and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but he's got all these distinct nations, and they're drawn from historical analogs,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
Looking through the characters in the quick start, they took all that out.
Mm.
And so you have a guy who's kind of a Conan looking guy who's just a man from the hills.
Oh.
And you have this kind of druidy looking guy who's like a mad man from the wildlands or something. And it's just like you have these like countries, like anyone who knows Howard knows about,
Right.
Aquilonia, Stygia, Samaria, blah, blah, blah. And you're not using them? Like,
Wow.
why?
Yeah, that would really suck because Modifia's got the full license and the blessing of the estate and everything when they did their 2D20. It would really suck if the license that Monolith has is like, well, yeah, you didn't buy these names. We want the cheaper version, so we'll just
no,
he's from the
that would be-
south. Yeah,
But like in their board game, they have
Yeah.
Picts and Stygians and stuff.
right. Yeah, and their expansions, are named after the setting. Yeah, the locations of the setting. Yeah, I think so. Maybe they just because it was a quick start, they wanted to keep it real
They just skipped
streamlined.
it.
Yeah, maybe keep it real streamlined.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, it just Rings of Power. Boo. Boo.
Hey, how do we get back to that? Oh,
Yeah, no, just thinking, just shivering at
Well-
the experience.
I did see a clip from it that showed some evil wizard guy. Are they trying to make like a proto Saruman or something?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I think I saw what you're talking about too in the kind of like they did everything that's going to be happening in this season all smashed up. I don't know. Yeah, because they're like this is the season that Tom Bombadil is in, and so he meets like early Gandalf. He meets teenage Gandalf and gives him a hat, I think. So Gandalf's gonna have a hat. Yay. But I don't know. I don't know because they may be introducing like some but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what. But they did do the. Oh yeah, I won't. Yeah, I won't go too into it. But yeah, they're trying to show the kind of power and more evil of Saruman that you didn't, or not Saruman, Sauron that you didn't get from the first season. He was just the love interest, the bad boy love interest in the first season. So they're trying to fill him out a little bit more. But I don't know. I think they're still gonna ship those characters. I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking with this. It's going to be really weird. They're fleshing stuff out. They have no ability or right. Well, it feels in a way. It's kind of like what the Brian Herbert Dune books, kind of do to Dune. They just kind of like blah 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 elaborate on something that's not, it doesn't have the feel or it doesn't have the connective tissue or anything. It just uses some of the names and stuff and locations from the original source text. And this feels a little bit like that too. Just kind of like and well, what could have happened here? They were shopping and It has a lot. It feels like a lot of nonsense.
So if you could pick one of those action flicks from Outgun to be a player in, which one do you think grabbed your
Oh,
attention?
yeah. Yeah, there were so many of them that I thought would be fun. We're just playing with the World of Killers, like the John Wick stuff with the hotel and stuff. I think would be really, really cool. But as far as in the action flicks, like the kind of real 80s, 90s stuff,
The one I'm really interested in is coming with the new Kickstarter.
mm-hmm.
It's the Mad Max.
Oh
looking
yeah,
one.
yeah,
I think that would be fun.
that would be really fun.
And
Yeah,
I wouldn't even fake it. Like I've been watching all these lore videos lately on Mad Max.
nice.
So I would just be all in on stealing that license for it.
Right. Oh, that'd be
Um,
great.
and the Ghostbusters one I think could be
Mm-hmm.
fun.
Yeah, I think that could be. That was like the first one. The first one that I thought of. Yeah, I don't want to do Wizard School.
And I don't want to do the Jedi or
Right?
whatever.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But I think they could do the Star Knights or whatever. But don't they also do a kind of Outer Rim thing?
Yeah.
So yes, like kind of space pirates would be fun.
Yeah. Maybe not specifically trying to ape Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just
Mm-hmm.
just flesh out a more of a one like a Corman knockoff, like one of the Corman films.
Oh yeah.
Rip off of Star Wars would be fun.
What's that one from the 80s that had the kid from John Boy from the Waltons in it?
Oh yeah, Battle Beyond the Stars.
Battle Beyond the Stars.
Yes.
Yeah. Or like Last Starfighter or something.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, there's some good stuff.
Sorry for the old guy talk, everyone.
Yeah, people are like Googling these films. Oh my God, what is it, 82? Who the hell was alive then?
Some of the first CGI in a major motion picture.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we should maybe get on a Discord call and kind of kick stuff around and see what would be a fun. Yeah, but any of those sound fun. Or if you just want to choose something and I think if there's some setting that you really.
Carolina said Ice Pirates. Yes.
Oh, Ice Pirates. Yeah, Orcus has been waiting for someone to flesh out that Ice Pirate setting. Robots sitting on toilets and stuff. Yeah, it's going to be great.
You think
or aliens. I was alien. Yeah.
There's somewhere there's a show Bible for Ice Pirates I can get my hands on.
There must be. Yes. Oh yeah. Miguel's the shipping thing. I can fix him of Galadriel. Yes, they're gonna just keep drawing her back to him, because there's some weird destiny between Sauron and Galadriel. Yeah, I suppose.
And she's supposed to be taller and more of a badass.
Yeah, right. That's such a little weasel-faced, Yeah.
Everyone in that show, I guess if you think of them all as taller, then none of them are taller. I don't know. But like all the men from the West they're supposed to be freaking titanically tall.
Right.
Like 7-footers or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very dumb.
Yeah, and it's weird that they didn't go for any names in any like famous actors. There's nobody of any recognizable clout or anything in that show. There's only like one or two characters or actors that I even recognize from other like cable series. So it's weird that they went with such weird unrecognizable people, and most of their the writing is bad and most of their acting is not great. So it really gives a terrible tone to the show. There's not even anybody you're waiting to get back to because they've got such a screen presence because that weird Gandalf creeps me out. He just looks like some like dirty Seattle
Hobo
hippie.
Gandalf.
Yeah. It's just like, ugh. Yeah. It's really weird.
Robert Mackey joined us. He said, "No spoilers. Watching Franchise of Power tonight."
Oh, okay, yeah, we won't. Yeah, we won't. Well, we'll spoil it that it's disappointing. Yeah, hey, Matt, Rob, how's it going?
We don't need to spoil it because the showrunners already did.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, so so we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what well, we should get just a vote on settings. But if you have one that you really want to play from like the kind of original
initially
stuff.
I want to run that starter thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then from there go off and do one of the
Oh,
action
okay.
flicks.
Cool.
So,
Okay.
but yeah, we'll
Cool.
see.
All right. Yeah, that first file, the project.
Yes. Don't read it, and if you already read it, forget it.
Yeah, actually, I already ran it. Yeah, I ran it in real
You
life.
ran?
Yeah, I ran it in real life.
Shit.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll find a different one then.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. That was the because once I had all the stuff, I wanted to feel like what the stuff was like on the table, and I got some of the Idle Red Hands boys and Alan stopped by, and we did that as a quick session. It was surprisingly good because they had no clue about the system, and they by the end of the session they were like totally into it and like got the fact that you just need to go for it, just like what's the next most insane thing I could do, kind of stuff. Because there's a lot of really impossible situations, and if you're trying to use your kind of like D&D, problem solving, it doesn't work. You have to just do the most insane thing you can think of. Mm-hmm. So they got that pretty well. So I think the system works for that.
Yeah, because I keep drawing these parallels, although system wise they're not accurate at all. Mm-hmm. But it does adrenaline and spotlights feels like momentum and determination in a lot of ways,
Yeah, that's true.
And so like you're feeding the narrative with the adrenaline, and then you can use the spotlight like determination in 2D20 where it just gives you an amazing success. Mm-hmm. But you can also just say, hey, GM, I'm going to do this crazy shit.
Right.
Yeah, which is awesome. That's the way it should be.
Yeah, definitely. Because once everyone's in kind of like the action film mindset, like what would be, you kind of can play rule of cool and like what would be the stupidest thing that could happen right now. That's what's happening. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So sorry. Yeah, I did run that. Yeah. That's right. That's the difficulty of like us, all having that same material. And it was like such a rare chance. It had been like literally more than a year since we'd had an in-person session of anything. Yeah, it was crazy.
Maybe I'll read it, kind of see how they pace it, and then just do like a homebrew thing.
Oh yeah. No, I think you could take the how they set that up, because basically you like get the job, double cross, chase, you're a chase to, kind of an airport. And then of course, just like the GM screen, you're falling out of the director's screen, you're falling out of an airplane. Wouldn't you know it, without a parachute. Yeah. But it, I think you could definitely, switch it up so it would like I wouldn't know, it would catch me off guard enough. And still, I think even if you did the same beats of that adventure, depending on the character that I was playing, it wouldn't I wouldn't have any extra information. Somebody said the S word. I mean Shadow Dark. Abyss.
Ooh, oh yeah, Shadow Dark. That's what he's talking about.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the new overhyped RPG. Yeah, it's starting to get some real backlash. I was surprised. A couple of like the OSR YouTubers and stuff that I watch one of them did like a 2-hour, like 4-person panel discussion of like, what the hell is this? Why does this have so much attention? It's no big deal. And why is this taking over? Well, why is it taking over so much, so many D&D YouTubers' time? Why is it getting so much? But I think it's like, it was probably just the timing, of people getting turned off and looking for an alternative, and then this popped up as the new hotness, so it got on everybody's radar. But yeah. The S word. Yeah, the cultish following. Yeah, yeah. This is saying that this Twitter feed has a cultish. Yeah, there's some real heavy duty disciples. And it looks like, yeah, the only way you can, if you didn't back it, the only way you can get it is from their store. So it's quite a expense if you want a physical copy of Shadow Dark.
I've been running this Black Sword hack game locally for a fair amount of time now, and I think I'm glad I'm having fun. But I think when I'm done with it, which is probably, I don't know, 2-3 months away, I'm gonna be okay, and like I won't need to do the OSR thing for a while.
Oh yeah, interesting. Yeah.
Like like after a while, you're just kind of like, I want something different. This is cool, and definitely I'd rather do this than 5th edition, but I want something new. I want something different.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, we got a lot of that. We got a lot of that to try.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool. Nice. Oh, Carolina just pointed out I quoted Will Smith from Men in Black 2. Oh no. I'm gonna have to rewind and watch.
Yeah, and Carolina mentioned the space herpes for Ice Pirates too, which
gonna
have to stat out the space herpes.
Nice. Yeah, but I think that Outgun could be fun to do. Yeah, kind of like the cheesy 80s Star Wars knockoff sci-fi with just a bunch of loser characters. That would be really fun. Yes, like space losers would be great. Space
losers. That's a good name for a campaign, actually.
Yeah, somebody's going through space divorce. Another one has a space taxes
in front of everything. Pass me the space biscuits, please.
That's what we were so afraid when they first announced Starfinder back in the day, and it was so compatible with Pathfinder. It's like, is this really just going to be Pathfinder with like star in front of everything and space in front of everything? It's the space elves and the star dwarves and the they definitely distinguished it. It's like very distinct, but at first it's like, oh, is Paizo just going to kind of find and replace a bunch of words in Pathfinder to make it Starfinder? So we definitely have to, and especially now that Alchemy has got that got stuff up and running,
and you can actually build your character in there and everything.
Nice. So, that'll be good.
Yeah, that was the other thing. I didn't want to use pre-mades. Because I feel like if we make characters, that will also help us kind of, especially Will and Terry, learn the system a little bit before we even play.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah, that'll be good. So look for I'll in the next day or so, depending on weather allowing, I'll get the that unboxing online so you can see everything. And it's not as much stuff as I thought. There's a pretty big spacer in that Dune Agents of Dune box, and it's funny because it seems like they had a little bit of change, like at least the naming. So I wonder if more than the name changed, because in the core rulebook they call this box set the Heirs of Dune. So it's like inheriting Dune, kind of the idea. So maybe more house based, and then they realized, oh wait, we got to reinforce the agents and architects kind of concepts in the game, and also want people to be able to play this, because they also give you advice that you don't have to play it as a what if scenario where where you're taking over instead of House Atreides, you can actually just play the whole adventure where you're just kind of like what we're doing. You have holdings, you have some kind of spice fields that you control on Arrakis. You're not taking over the entire. It's not the fiefdom of Dune. So they recommend that. So that may be part of the reason, and also how they carefully called it a role-playing campaign experience. So they did say starter set. They didn't say anything. They said experience because there are no rules included. You're walking through the adventure with a tutorial, and I think that was smart too. They included a code for the PDF of the full core book because the set itself is a little pricey, so they had to do something, I think, to add some value to it because for what you get, it's like a lot of the stuff is not going to be reusable. You can actually, like, there's some tick boxes and stuff inside the adventure booklet. You could actually just use those, with a Sharpie or a ballpoint pen, and you're probably not going to run through it again. You're probably not going to take that same group again. You might use, so I'd say like maybe half or less of the physical components you could reuse in a regular campaign, the cards for assets and the NPCs and stuff, and some of the the dueling map and stuff, but all the campaign specific handouts and stuff you'll just never use again. So
yeah. So Abyss pointed out or suggested that we consider running the Enemy Within campaign, which would be super cool. But you and I, whoever, if you ran it, I'd have to be really tight-lipped and
right.
We'd be suspending our disbelief on a whole nother level to not spoil it for Will and Harry.
Right. Did you get through all of it? Did you go through all kind of 5?
I got through Death on the Right.
Oh, okay. Because that's what I was thinking is, I mean, it is a connected kind of, building, but you could jump in at any point, kind of backfilling some of the relationships and things you have. So we may want to, because I don't know if we'll ever play it long enough to get through the entire story. Mm-hmm. So it may be fun just to kind of like whatever part we don't know, start running it from that point.
Yeah.
That might be an option too. Yeah, but that's
thought when you were running Bogenhofen with Warlock, I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah,
too.
I like that a lot. Yeah, and I'd like to also run Dark Sun with some kind of rules light OSR kind of thing sometime, because I saw somebody like did. Yeah. Somebody did I think like a black hack conversion for Dark Sun, but I'd love to run. Yeah, I'd love to run that setting, but not with 2E. Yeah. But that would be fun.
Get us some cannibal halflings.
Yeah, get that going.
Oh, he's suggesting Blaze in the Dark. Yeah, I would love to play Blaze in the Dark.
Oh, yeah.
I think our group, especially now that we've really kind of been doing so much 2D20, like that whole thing in Blaze in the Dark of what do they call it? But it's like you retroactively narrate a thing you did in the past, to fix a problem in the present. I can't remember what they call it.
Yeah. I know I know the mechanic you're talking about.
That feels like totally the kind of thing you would do in a 2D20 game in a way,
Oh, that's true. Yeah, and I think it has that heist film kind of idea that's like, oh yeah, but remember how we got to this point? Remember how we got here? Yeah. Miguel says Dark Sun is taboo. Yeah, Wizards of the Coast is never going to touch it, so we should definitely take advantage.
We should play Dark Sun and all buy like Braum art graphic tees and all wear them on the thing.
Right.
Just go all in.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think that setting would be fun. Really nasty and fun. Yeah, but they also have isn't what is it? Scum and Villainy? Isn't that that's Forged in the Dark. That's
Yeah,
Blades in the Dark. Yeah, that would be fun too.
which is another kind of Outer Rim smuggler, whatever kind of thing.
Right. So space heists.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blades in the Dark would be fun. It really is a shame. I was really close to running Blades in the Dark for my daughter.
Oh.
With that pixel art, no more multiverse VTT. Like they did that whole they did the whole city and all the NPCs in that crazy like pixel art VTT. And then we talked about it like I think the end of last year they went out of business, or beginning of this year they went bankrupt and just said, yeah, we can't do this anymore, sorry guys, servers are going down. Yeah, but that's so much work. I wish there was some way to preserve all the work they put into, those assets, to be able to use them, somehow, so they could repackage them and sell them for, Roll20 or something, because they did pixel art assets of the entire city, and now it's just like unusable, unplayable. But it also probably depends on how their business was structured too. Maybe now that it's gone, nobody owns that. It's just, nobody owns that content anymore. It's just gone. Because if the company doesn't exist, the license or, however they license, that doesn't exist. And it's too bad.
I guess there's a Blades thing for Foundry.
Oh. That's cool. Yeah, I think there is. Yeah, I think I remember looking at that because I wanted to do Blades in the Dark and trying to figure out what to run it on. I was like, oh, I forgot there's that pixel art version. And then when that folded, I was looking at the alternatives. Yeah, I think the Foundry one's pretty nice. It looks pretty nice. They do a nice job. Oh, Carolina is asking, what color hair do your kids have? Oh, interesting. Yeah, my kids are two different mothers, but my kids look like twins. They look exactly the same. Wow. I can fool them by showing them pictures of each other at different ages, and they don't know. My youngest daughter got really freaked out because I showed her a picture of my older daughter, her older sister at her age, with her kind of best friend during the summer, with her arm around her, and she looked at that picture and she's like, I don't remember that happening. I don't know who that is. And I'm like, it's not you. It's okay. Don't worry about it. She got really freaked out. Like she had some like memory hole or something. She's like, no, what happened? I don't remember that happening. Where was that? Yeah, but they're very similar looking. So I guess I got some dominant genes, but they're both brunettes. The mothers are both brunettes. So yeah, kind of like dirty blonde, or that kind of mousy brownish kind of dirty blonde hair color for both of them. And yeah, my half Japanese daughter doesn't look super Japanese. Maybe skin tone. She's doesn't have that fish belly white skin from my side of the family.
Didn't get the white guy doughiness.
Right. Yeah, from the German and Scotch Irish transparency. She's got a little bit of pigment, which is good. She won't sunburn. But but no, not dark hair. Oh, but my interesting thing is my younger daughter, half Japanese, but very naturally curly hair. Like wavy curly hair. Yeah. So we don't know. I don't really have that on my side of the family, and my wife doesn't really either. So it's coming from it's a weird combination of genes. Yeah. Because usually you get the Asian hair is very dominant and it straightens out everybody's cowlicks and everything. But no, my, Japanese. So this is bonus content. This is the premium content that the patrons pay for. But thanks. Yeah.
What other weird questions about your kids can we ask? Did she get the European or the Asian earwax?
I think it's the European version. Yeah, it's not the white, the colorless. That's right. Yeah, there's so many funny, and it's so weird, like how that stuff kind of sorts out, because I don't think, it's like, it's weird. It's weird combinations of things. But the good thing is, I don't think she's got any allergies because of, the being half, she didn't get any allergies, and both, like I have a lot of like pollen allergies and stuff, and my wife had some allergies that are just totally canceled out. And a lot of Japanese kids have really bad childhood allergies. Like if they get tested, they get this list of, okay, you're allergic to wheat and dairy, and just like go down the list. It's like, okay, so what can they eat? There's a ton of early allergies among Japanese kids. I don't know. I can't say Asian in general, but Japanese kids have a lot of early childhood allergies. They grow out of, but early on they got a lot of crazy, skin rashes and reactions to things that you have no idea. So crazy food allergies. Oh yeah. But no, her eyes. She doesn't really have the fold. Maybe a little bit of the eye shape, but that half. If you've seen like half singers and stuff, in Japan, that kind of that look a little bit of the Asian eye shape, but not very dominant. I don't have like big round eyes, so it's not very distinctive. But it doesn't look. And I've seen couples that have two kids, and one looks Asian and one looks European. Like they literally like they don't look like brothers. They don't look related because they got all of one and all of another. Yes. And if you roll that on it, but of course that includes no bonuses to abilities or skills. It's completely distinct. It's all based in your background.
Pick her background.
Bringing it back to tabletop. We got to decide on some of our next moves. Yeah, but definitely Outgunned. I think that's a good. If you're not feeling excited about the Conan Quick Start, I think Outgunned would be a good next step.
I'm looking forward to trying it out. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, and I'll take a look at So a couple of things that would be easy to run because they already have pre-built stuff would definitely be Blades in the Dark on Foundry would be easy to run, and also the Pathfinder Savage Pathfinder, Savage Pathfinder on doing the Rise of the Rune Lords would be really easy on Foundry as well because it's all built out, like they have the whole thing already pre-constructed. So both of those would be really easy for me to run if we use Foundry. But we should do Alien though, because Alien stuff is coming up, and Blade Runner stuff is coming up, and
I would love to play Alien.
Yeah.
Love to play Alien.
Yeah, definitely. Alien Romulus, it made me want to go back to that crazy that system. And play it before they improve it. Play the old broken version. Nice. Earwax.
I'm not an earwax enthusiast. I just watched a whole lot of YouTube during the pandemic.
Right. Yeah, there's some really weird differences that unless you have a close friend or a partner, from that, culture, that race, that ethnicity, you don't know about some. Yeah, there's some funny differences. Yes. Black Plague survival genes. Nice. Yeah, fun stuff. Wow. Well, yeah, that's cool. Let's get back to it. So Dune tomorrow. Yeah, unless my internet goes down, we're gonna
hopefully you're not underwater.
Yes, have some things to sort out. Yeah, it just might be like a torrential downpour, and then if our internet connection gets dicey, we may have to call it. Like if we break, if the stream breaks too many times, and just. We can just record the audio. But I think both. Yeah, I think both are going to be pretty sensitive because Discord uses a lot of bandwidth too, like we found out today. But so please stay tuned, and thank you again, Calarion, for your support always. It's so great having you in the chat for the actual plays. It's fun to get a response, and your comments, your feedback comments are really great. I think that'll help people. That are, deciding whether or not they want to watch a couple hours of people they don't know play a game that they barely know. A lot of your breakdown and discussion in the comments about the story in the game really helps. I think that's fun. Yeah, and it was fun to you know get out of the archive, dig out of the archives, the Vaesen stuff. That was really cool to see. Yeah, because we weren't even we were recording it, but we weren't weren't thinking about, and some of it was really hard to get assembled back together. So I'm glad I chose to do it now before like any of those archives got corrupted or any of that data got lost. So we have the complete campaign, because it was a little dicey, especially like my numbering my session numbering system was horrible. But
yeah, I'd love to, whether we did your idea you originally had of moving it to a later generation, or just going back to those characters and Nils being a revenant. I think either one of those would be fun to do.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because we've got a whole nother book of mysteries that's in Scandinavia, so we could stick with Scandinavia or use a story reason to move to the UK. Yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of because they did the whole England Ireland setting. So yeah, we got lots of content, and also the I'll take a look at the Lost Mountain saga, the giants. Oh, yeah, if that ties into kind of a few things that we set up, because we talked about giants already destroying the one castle, the one kind of stronghold of the society. So if that ties in, that would be pretty cool. If that makes sense.
And we have that whole overarching thing, with the secret societies or whatever, that we never really got to delve too much into.
Yeah, right. We just kind of
that might be fun to explore some more too.
Oh yeah, this is interesting. Let me get your opinion on this. I wasn't sure. I didn't respond to this comment because my initial response was "go fuck yourself." So I was like, maybe I shouldn't respond to this comment. But there was a comment on I think our session 0 for Vaesen, and basically they said that they thought. Oh yeah, here it is. So on our session, or our first actual play, I think it was a mistake to give the whole castle, so the castle Gillenkreutz, yeah, to one character. My understanding was the castle is owned by the society in whole. Giving it to one character would turn off some players, off. And like I could understand like playing with randos, like if you were just going to do that in a group, but we're playing two characters, one that was employed by the other one. And I thought because of the way that the society is so broken and almost gone, like almost just a legend, just a myth by that time, and that castle is in such disrepair, I thought, it was interesting that it goes from, 0, and Axel buys it up to restore it, maybe for his own selfish interests or maybe for, altruistic reasons. And I thought that was such a good way to lure him to it, because I couldn't understand just wanting to solve that dark, secret of your past. Is that enough to really join a secret society? And, and so I like the rebuilding of it. And Axel taking control also then makes much more sense why all of a sudden there's so much conflict, why reporters and everybody are like, what the hell are you doing? Who are you? Why did you do this? Like you're instantly in conflict with so much around you. I thought my instinct on that worked well, but I think some people are like, it's the Justice League, it's the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen that are all, bound by an oath. It's like, I think they wanted it to play more like that, like you're joining some tradition. Yeah.
And that would be fine, but that's something you work out like in your session 0. So, I mean, I don't know if that's something you complain about. It's just a different way to play. Like,
right.
Will had a neat idea, and we bounced ideas off each other, and we made these characters. So it's I don't know. I thought it worked great.
Yeah.
Myself.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was surprised somebody had that reaction, but I think that was their approach, and like seeing a different approach, they're like wrong. Yeah, I think a lot of people have that instinct. They're just like, nope, nope. Yeah, that's not how you do it. Like,
you've been interneted.
Right. Yeah, so I think that's funny. But when I read that comment, I thought, oh yeah, does that make it difficult if we wanted to add Terry to the Vaesen campaign? Does that make it difficult because he's always going to be the outsider? He's always going to be, like, hey guys, what's going on at your castle? It's like, is it going to make him too much of an outsider because it's Axel's world? Would we have to make him like a family member or something, to make it feel like, he had a connection, the same kind of connection or investment, that your characters do? So, but we can solve that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, we have him figure out what kind of character he wants to play.
Mm-hmm.
And then I mean, to me, it's kind of then the responsibility of the rest of us to make it work,
mm-hmm,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the one part of role playing where you should get meta is when you all work together to make the story work,
Mm-hmm,
like
mm-hmm. Oh, that's true. I think that's a good one.
I usually don't sweat that kind of stuff too much, but
I know just like, because what would be the most antagonistic choice? I know that Terry has to be a priest, and then a raised from the dead Nils and Axel dealing with like him constantly trying to exorcise the evil butler.
The butler that hates priest.
Right. Yeah. That would be great. Yeah. Because you guys have had such great experiences with the clergy so far.
That wouldn't be my first choice, but it'd probably be pretty funny.
Yeah. That's too funny. Yeah, but we'll have to see. But yeah, we will get back to that. We will. That's just too. Those are such compelling characters that the character death was the first time it was just like, oh shit, this fucked it up now, because it was just really this was such a great duo. But we'll get back. There's ways around it. We'll multiverse Nils back in. All right. Yeah. So keeping Matt up too late again, but thanks everybody for watching, and we will be back again soon. Thanks for everybody in the chat. See you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.